deep. When the night is dark, but the outside's so cold, here's on fire. I needed a hero, if only I knew that the hero was me, that the hero was you, standing alone in my fire. You're not alone, you're just hanging on a wire. Just take my hand, heroes on fire. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing, for the New Year's, my top 20 of 2020. And while last year was a year full of misfortunes and not really the best year, there's still a lot of good that came out of it that I would like to highlight right here. Some of my favorite things that came out of 2020. What am I doing with my hands? Anyway, some of my favorite things that came during 2020, and I have mostly everything here came out in 2020, but I have one book that came out in 2019 because I couldn't think of a bunch of books that came out in 2020. But I have 4 categories with 5 things in them, and the first one is songs. Okay, so the first song, the top song for my top 5 songs of 2020 is these are out of order, not out of order, but I love all these songs equally. So literally none of them are above each other. It's just like a group. But these are some of my favorite songs that came out of the year. The first one's Commander-in-Chief by Demi Lovato. It's a very deep song, basically talking about the president, or who's soon to be the former president of the United States. But basically that's what the song's talking about, and it's so deep. I love it. Commander-in-Chief, honestly, if I did the things you do, I couldn't sleep. Seriously, do you even know the truth? We're in a state of crisis, people are dying while you line your pockets deep. Next song is Baby I by Piper Raquel. It's such a catchy song. It's upbeat, it's like a dance song, and it's really good. And then there's the love rapping part. It's actually it's a really good song, and I love it. Baby I, baby I, baby I, baby I, baby I think I like you. Next song is not one song, but it's the whole Julie and the Phantom soundtrack, because I cannot choose one song from the soundtrack because they're all amazing. I love all of them. I could probably pick a few favorites, but at the same time, that would still not be one song. So the whole Julie and the Phantom soundtrack. And some of my top favorites from the soundtrack would have to be This Band Is Back. That was the first one I really fell in love with. Well, technically the first one I really fell in love with was Unsaid Emily. Then This Band Is Back. Then Wake Up. Then Bright, not Bright, but Flying Solo. Then Kind of Bright. Then Now or Never. You know, just the whole soundtrack, like I said. And Wow, I love Wow. Ooh, ah, put your hands up to the sky, booyah, we the best, no doubt. You check us out and we make it say wow. Next song is, okay, this one did not really come out in 2020 either, but the show ended, the last season was released in 2020, and the song was featured in the last season, so I'm gonna count it. And it is Heroes on Fire from Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beast. I love that song for some reason. It just stuck out to me, and it's like my karaoke jam now, and it's not even like a karaoke jam. Well, it's their karaoke jam that they had in the show, but it's it's so inspirational. At the same time, it's just so fun and so catchy and such a great song that I just love it. The last song is Heather by Conan Gray. which is it's kind of like alternative song, but it's such a catchy song. Like it's weird, but I love it, and it's just so like calming, relaxing. It's a nice little chill song. Unless you're very emotional, then it's a very emotional song. But yeah, I really love that song. It was like, I think it's really kind of like right now, I like to listen to a lot of chill music now. And I think that's kind of what really got me into that. Because before, probably thought I wouldn't like that type of music, but then listening to that, it was just so calm and serene. And I love that. Now on to the books. So the first book of 2020, this one definitely came out in 2020, and it's called The Prettiest. And I don't remember who it's by, but it's a book about an 8th grade girl named Eve. Well, multiple 8th grade girls, but the main one is Eve. And I think it's told in multiple perspectives, but again, well, it's about this list. So some boys make this list, which ranks some of the girls in the school as the prettiest, and this girl named Eve is ranked number 1, and it starts to cause a whole lot of problems for her. She starts getting unwanted attention, and some people are she gets random unknown texts from random people she doesn't even know. So I don't even know how they got her phone number, which is kind of weird. And some people are even saying she wrote the list herself, because before, like, nobody really cared about her. But now she's at the top of the list, so she's popular. And now people are saying, like, she's attention seeking because they think she made the list. And yeah, it causes a bunch of problems for her. And then the girl who was originally popular and a lot of people thought was pretty, she started getting less attention, and that kind of caused problems for her, I guess. Mentally, like, not mentally and like where she went mental, I mean, like, it really caused her to think about how she evaluates herself and how she sees herself and how she lets others define her. But it's like a really deep book dealing with themes like sexism, and it's like formatted in a way where I would say young teens, preteens can like really look at this situation and be like, oh wow. So it has a really good book, and then it has a really nice ending. It ends off on a new year. The next book is called Not Your All-American Girl, and it's about this Jewish Chinese girl and it takes place in the 80s, and her best friend are auditioning for a musical, which is this 50s theme musical that involves an all-American girl and a bunch of hula hooping. And it's kind of weird. I think it's kind of like a Grease vibe, except with a lot of hula hoops and a hula hooping competition in the end. But the song is about an all-American girl and hula hooping, because I guess that was like an all-American sport. And her best friend were auditioning for the leads. And I guess she was kind of like being a little more modest about wanting the role. They both wanted the role, of course. And in the end, she ends up getting cast in the ensemble, while her friend gets cast as the lead. And the thing is, not in like a rude way, but she is better than her friend. Like, she's more talented vocally, and she would do way better in the role. But the reason she didn't get the role is because she's not all-American. Even though she was born in America, so she is all-American. But she just didn't get cast because her friend was white enough for the role. So her friend was whiter and was good enough to play that role. And then during that, she gets to learn a lot more about herself, her history, like, I guess her ancestry, learns more about standing up for herself and building opportunities for herself. And she builds a tighter bond with the ensemble, because while her friend's busy doing all the stuff with the leads, all the other leads, working really hard with all the other leads, she's stuck with the ensemble in the ensemble. And the ensemble isn't treated as fairly as the leads, because if the ensemble's like making the slightest bit of noise while the leads are rehearsing, which is most of the time, they get in trouble. But if the leads are talking or passing notes or anything, the teacher doesn't care. And the ensemble are more likely to get yelled at about something than the leads. So it's really about racism, and has a lot of theater stuff involved. And it's a really good show. I mean, it's not a show, it's a book. But it's a really good book, and I suggest you check it out. The next book is called This Coven Won't Break, which is it's part of a book series, and it's the second book. And the first book is called These Witches Don't Burn. And it's a really good book. I suggest you check it out, but I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about This Coven Won't Break, which is, again, a sequel, basically about a young witch, forgot her name, read 2 books about her, can't remember her name, but after the crazy events of the first book, which I don't want to spoil too much if you want to read it, some, I guess, to put it in the simplest terms, after crazy events of the first book, a bunch of witch hunters come after her and her fellow covens, and it's up to her and her friends to stop it. In the simplest terms, without spoiling too much. Because a lot of, like, I know I kind of spoiled the other ones, but this book really, you have to. The next book is called The Whispers. I read that one more recently. The main character's name is Riley, and it is about a young boy who is trying to find these mystical creatures called the Whispers to help him find out what happened to his mother, who's been missing for 4 months. And he's like trying to make sense of that, like going on this crazy journey to find these magical whispers, find his mom, discovers a lot of crazy stuff along the way. There's a huge plot twist in the end, and that's all I'm gonna say because it is crazy and sad. So it's a very emotional book. It's deep. Forgot to mention the last book was released in 2019, not 2020. But the next book is called Stand Up Yumi Chung, and it is about a young Korean girl, or of Korean descent, who loves comedy, and that's her passion. That's what she kind of wants to work towards. But her parents don't seem too fond of her career path, and they really want her to focus more on her education and getting a scholarship back to the school that she does not really like to go to. And then when she gets the opportunity to do a comedy camp with her favorite comedian, even though it happens because of a case of mistaken identity, she is balancing that along with passing this test that will get her a scholarship back to the school her parents really want her to go to. And it is really crazy. And I think her persistence can be very inspirational, and it's also like a kind of funny story. At the same time, it's kind of deep, because her parents also risk losing their store. So it's a really good book. I suggest you check it out. Next category is shows, and the first show I'm going to talk about is Pup Academy, which is this really cute show about talking puppies. It's made by Air Bud Entertainment, which does a lot of movies like the Air Bud series, the Buddy series, which I used to love as a child because I still love it. I haven't really been able to watch the movies because they're no longer on Netflix, and there's only one movie on Disney Plus as I can remember. And they also made Pup Star, but they make a bunch of movies and stuff with talking animals and usually puppies. And Pup Academy is a show about these puppies who go to this magical school where they learn how to be the best pups they can be. And it's just full of adventure drama, but a lot of cuteness. And I love it. And the second season came out this year, and the first season. So 2 seasons in 1 year. Next show I'm going to talk about is The Owl House. And in a way, Pup Academy is also associated with Disney Channel, because I'm pretty sure it airs on there too, but I have watched it on Netflix. But yeah, next is The Owl House. It is a really great show. It aired earlier in 2020, and I love it. It's a drama series, kind of like Gravity Falls. It's made by the same creators, or some of the creators of Gravity Falls, and the creator of Gravity Falls is part of the cast of The Owl House. So it gives off the same kind of vibe, but it's like a drama show, just like Star versus the Forces of Evil and Gravity Falls. And by that, it's like it has this build up. Like if you've watched Star versus the Forces of Evil, you know that it kind of starts off as this kind of like slice of life kind of show. Each episode seems completely random and just about Star learning more about Earth and doing random stuff, dealing with random human problems and Earth problems. But as this show progresses, you can see that the show is more story driven than random episodes. So it's a serial series, not episodic. So as it progresses, it gets more serious and less funny, comical, slice of lifey, and more like dramatic and heartbreaking, emotional. So that's kind of like the Owl House as the show progresses, and it only has one season so far. So this is one of the quicker moving drama series from what I've seen. It's like it starts off, few episodes just seem kind of slice of lifey, like Lou's going around in this demon realm, learning things about magic. But as like a few episodes in, something dramatic happens, which is a little more serious. But it's more of her just kind of going around, being goofy, doing stuff. But the season finale is definitely like builds up to this point where it's already gone like to that dramatic point where it's no longer a slice of life, but there might be more slice of life stuff going on amidst the drama. But it's a really good show. I suggest you check it out. Next show is The Babysitter's Club. It's a really good show on Netflix based off the popular book series The Babysitter's Club, and it's really good. I really suggest you check it out. I think it's really good for teens and preteens because it can deal with relatable problems. It is also like something really interesting to watch and kind of inspirational if you want to start your own babysitting club or aspire to do anything and any of the other girls aspire to do. Next show is Julie and the Phantoms. I can make a whole video ranting about how much I love this show and everything I love about it. But to make it short, girl gets 3 ghost boys and it's a crazy ride. It's a drama series. It's more serious. There's a bunch of emotional moments that can make you cry. But it's a really good show. Like all these shows I'm talking about, they're all really good shows. But that one is one I definitely suggest you check out. I'll probably make a whole video ranting about it. I've been planning to. So I'm gonna do that one day. Next is Diary of a Future President, which is a show that is about a young girl named Elena, I think, if I remember correctly. This girl who lives in Miami, and she wants to be president when she grows up. Or she is going to be a president when she grows up. And basically it's talking about this president's 6th grade or middle school experience. And she has to deal with some drama, learning more about herself, dealing with best friends and ex-friends. And just about kids dealing with school problems and home problems and family problems. It's a more serious show. It's like a drama, but it also has this comedic elements just like real life, because real life is full of drama but also funny moments. So it's a really good show. You can check it out. It's a Disney Plus original. It came out this year. Yeah, go check it out. Okay, next category is movies, and I'm gonna go down the list because I need to wrap up this video. But anyway, first movie is We Can Be Heroes on Netflix. At first, I was really skeptical about this movie. I did not want to watch it because I love Shark Boy and Lava Girl and Spy Kids. And I feel like them trying to remake something like Shark Boy and Lava Girl is doing too much. And combining it with Spy Kids, which has been remade multiple times and kind of degraded in quality after the 3rd movie. Or like during the 3rd movie, because the 3rd movie was kind of boring to me. But I thought it would not really turn out good and it would be a total flop, but it was actually really great. And I think what made it really great is the fact that there wasn't so much Shark Boy and Lava Girl involved. Like, I think that the fact that it wasn't focused on Shark Boy and Lava Girl at all and kind of barely had them in there made it better, because that made it its own movie. But it did have like some Shark Boy and Lava Girl references and stuff, but that was fine because it wasn't so focused on that, so that made its own thing. Next one is Feel the Beat, which is a movie that also came out this year starring Sophia Carson from Disney's Descendants. She played Evie, but basically it's about this girl who has to lead this, she wants to be a Broadway star. That's her goal. She wants to be a dancer on Broadway, but after a flopped audition, her only chance of getting another shot is by leading these girls into a dance competition so she can meet one of the judges who can give her another chance on Broadway. And that's basically what she starts off doing it for, but then she starts to actually care about the kids and the competition. So yeah, it's a really good movie. Has a lot of dancing and emotional moments. Next one is Work It, which is another dance movie drama. It stars Sabrina Carpenter, and it is about a young girl who she's trying to get into a college. And on her resume, or when she was talking to the college advisor, she kind of lied about being part of this dance troupe. So, because the college advisor, the admission officer, was like, we don't want boring people. We want people who do more things. So she's like, oh yeah, I do that, totally. And so she had to try to get herself on the dance team, but that didn't work out because she was a terrible dancer. So what happened is she ended up forming her own dance team and going into these competitions. So this whole dance journey, it was a dance journey, it was a personal journey, and it was a really good movie. Again, of course she's so good. But yeah, it was kind of dramatic. Definitely had its funny moments and emotional moments, but overall it was really good. Next one, Clouds, also has Sabrina Carpenter in it. It's a story, it's like a biopic, I think that's what it's called, about a artist named Zach. He was a real person who died of cancer, but he wanted to be a musician, and he made this one viral song, and that's what the movie's about, kind of a documentary in a way. Then the last one is Mulan. It's the live action version, and it was really good. I think it could have been better if they added like some of the classic characters from the other thing, but I think it was really good on its own by itself without those characters. The way they did it was great. I would have loved to hear musical moments, like a Disney musical, but it was really good. And that's all I really have to say about it. Definitely stayed true to the story though. Anyway, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below your top 5 of 2020 or top 4, like if you did your top song, book, movie, and show from 2020. Bye.